Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it's going to be a best of 3 between two players I love a lot. It is Stats versus DongRaeGu. Starting on Zen the Ladder Edition, it's a best of 3 from Wardy. Again, link in the description to his Twitter, his Twitch, and his YouTube. If you don't follow him, you should, because he has consistently amazing players playing in his tournaments. And I'm inspired by him. All right, bottom left-hand corner is the Red Protoss player. It is Stats. Look, man, Stats has one of the longest Wikipedia pages ever in StarCraft 2. That is all the introduction he needs. And at the top right-hand corner, we have DongRaeGu, who has also a very, very long Wikipedia page. He won 12 Premier Championships between the years of 2012 and 2014. Then he went to military, and now he's trying to get back to that level. He's competing in GSL right now. He got to the group stages, the second group stage. He got through the first group stage, into the second group stage. He's in a group, well, I kind of feel like this is going to be over by the time you see this, and yeah, it is. But anyway, he played against TY, Scarlet, and Special in there, and I hope he made it to the playoff. I hope he does, because, man, DongRaeGu is an incredible Zerg player. And yes, I know, we have a lot of incredible Zerg players, but DongRaeGu is so special. And he might be the first person to come back from military and actually attain the level of greatness he had before he left. So that would be great, right? Right. Alright, what is Stats doing? Nothing really. One gate expand to Rooney here on Zen. It's a stupid map. 16, 18, 17 here. Getting gas, you know, a little bit later here. He's not going to have enough gas, I don't think, for speed when that pool finishes, which is fine. He's not planning on being aggressive by any stretch. The Overlord is scouting around here, and everything is totally cool. Everything is fantastic. I'm looking forward to what this has in store for us here for this Sunday series. I know it's been a while since I've done a Sunday series. The problem is I was planning on doing a lot of Katowice, right? A ton of Katowice for you on those Sunday series, and then Blizzard broke the ability for me to load those replays at all in the StarCraft 2 client. There's this little, like, 3-day window where you can't load replays, and that's where all the Katowice was played. And so you go in the client, and you're like, hey, I want to load this replay, and they're like, no. So, wait, what do you mean, no? You can't do it. Great. So this is never going to get fixed. It will, but anyway. So we're here. We're doing some Wardy stuff. I hope he doesn't mind. I do love Wardy. I think he's great. He doesn't... As the third hatch comes up here for DRG, we've got an Adept coming up. DongRaeGu should be able to deal with that pretty easily. Yeah, I mean, Wardy's not like, boy, I sure hope Falcon shouts me out on his YouTube channel. That would be great for me. It's like everybody knows who Wardy is. If you don't know who Wardy is, by this point, first of all, have you been listening to my words at all when I'm casting? Some people actually have said they listen to Falcon Paladin casts, or they watch them on mute and don't listen to them at all, which, I guess maybe that means my observation skills are good, right? They can tell what's going on because I'm observing things. Resonating Glaives coming in. Ooh. Is DongRaeGu ready for this? Does he have a Roachborn or a Baneling Nest? Oh, snap. You can hold this with Lings and Queens, but you need a lot of Lings and a lot of Queens. So these guys don't want to finish that transfer, no. Third base coming up for DongRaeGu. He needs one of those two things, though. I believe so strongly in the concept that you need Banelings or you need Roaches. A lot of the pros prefer Banelings. I personally like Roaches quite a bit. Just because Roaches don't die after they kill stuff like Banelings do. Anyway, this is a Resonating Glaives, 2-base Rooney. Maybe not necessarily an all-in, but incredibly dangerous nevertheless. Droning, DongRaeGu. He's going to have a big economy lead, but is he going to be able to hold on? Alright, so these Adepts see the Warp Prisms. He sees the Warp Prism. Okay, Roach Warren is on the way. Is it too late is the question, though, because if you can hold this, you're in a great position against Stats, which, again, being in a great position against Stats is something everybody wants. And their deepest heart of hearts is to be in a good position in a game versus Stats. Wouldn't that be cool? So, for now, it's Slings and Queens. Like, 18 Zerglings are on the way. The Queens are fighting first. The Lings are like, do we help here or do we chase the Shade? It is the problem with Adepts, man. Ooh, they don't. They stand in here. They're trying to kill the Queens. The micro is good by DongRaeGu, because of course it is. He has some Roaches in production. Another round of Adepts is joining the party here, though. Is it enough is the question of the day. Queens are getting very low on HP. That one dies. There are enough Adepts here to basically 2 volleys shoot down Queens. That Queen is dead. This Queen is dead. That queen pulls back. The Ling's trying to get surrounds. More Lings in production here. Resources lost, though, is 1,000 to 500, doubling up. Roaches are trying to get into the party, but they're just a little bit too late, I think. I want to say they're a little bit too late, but a good surround, killing a couple of, so many of these adepts are on low health, but they do get into the main base. They're going to take down a bunch of these drones. And what else are they going to do? They're just going to pull back. They're going to wait for their shade, and they're going to shade out. Adepts are so annoying to deal with this way. Like, ridiculously annoying. Coming into the third base, worker count is 41 to 40, so it's not like DongRaeGu has taken a huge hit. Is he going to clean this up? It looks like he might be able to kind of clean this up. Sure, he just lost 10 drones, which is bad. Warp Prism is still alive, which is the larger problem. The queens need to be killing the Warp Prism, but Stats has been babysitting that Prism like it's his own firstborn. Totally understandably so. 14 Lings in production. That might be an overreaction here. I don't think you need 14 more Zerglings, 16 more Lings. He's worried about future attacks, but there aren't any. I mean, I guess we could warp in a bunch more with this Warp Prism, because the gateways are off cooldown. Maybe he's going to try it here, but that'd be real dumb to try it there. So he's just being annoying. Roaches and Ravagers and Lings are out. It's 46 to 25 army supply. DongRaeGu has a massive army. Income is hugely favoring Stats, though. 46 to 31 workers, and his third base is almost done, which the Overlord sees. DongRaeGu needs to make a counterattack, but I don't think he wants to, because this Warp Prism is really just keeping him at home right now. He's trying to Roach Ravager get out here and do some stuff, but there's already an Immortal. There's 2 Immortals. Yeah, your Roach Ravager attack against 2 Immortals is not going to have a good time. Army supply, bigger for DongRaeGu, but a lot of them are back home, constantly trying to deal with these Adepts. Queens do not get the Warp Prism. Attack coming into the third base. Force Fields and Roaches and Immortals are a bad combination for the Roaches, man. Big attack from DongRaeGu, though. Coming in, getting that surround. Can he do it? We are chaos right now. Abject chaos in the mix. Is it enough? The Force Fields are disgustingly good. The Lings could have gotten a wrap around, I think, onto that Immortal. Doesn't take any Corrosive Bile hits. Moves back at the last second. Does Stats. Is DongRaeGu holding on here? It's so stupid close. The Immortals, though, they don't do bonus damage versus the Ravagers, but still hit them pretty hard nevertheless. More Lings are in production. It is a 48 to 29 worker disadvantage. If DongRaeGu can't win this, if he doesn't win this engagement, I think he might just be done for game number 1. It is looking really dicey. Holding off. The Immortal juggling is sick. And he can't get it. Stats gets the win in game number 1. Dang, son. The Adept harassment was sick. 15 drones killed, 116 Lings down, 5 queens killed. And at that point in the game, I mean, look at that. Look at that at disadvantage. You're not winning. It's a 3-basing Stats with 50 workers. You have 29 drones. You didn't kill enough stuff. Resources lost for 5,000 to 4,000 in favor of the Protoss player. Just a well-executed plan from Stats. DongRaeGu did not have the Roaches or the Banelings out quite soon enough, and sometimes that's all that matters here in these games is just you didn't get a certain tech structure out soon enough, you're dead. You know? So let's go ahead and move into game number 2, which I am really excited for. I think that was very well played by both players. DongRaeGu almost took down Stats in that final battle. I think a couple more Lings. The shield batteries were huge, of course. But a couple more Lings, maybe getting a full surround on one of those Immortals. Although, again, the Warp Prism juggling was disgustingly good from Stats as well. Fair enough. I mean, Stats earned it. Stats absolutely earned that win. Did lose 3 Immortals, which I'm kind of surprised. Or had 3 Immortals, rather, at the end of the game. Did not lose any. There you go. That makes more sense. So let's move into game numero 2. We shall return, well, let's just say shortly. Game 2 is here on Everdream. Top right, Stats. Bottom left, it is DongRaeGu. I'm so excited for this game number 2, you guys. Hit that like button if you're enjoying this series so far. Hit that like button if you're excited for what's to come. And hey, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Again, I know you've heard this from other YouTube content creators, but like 60% of my views come from people who are not subscribed to the channel. I know, subscriptions don't matter as much as views, but hit that subscribe anyway, and I will love you for it. And leave me a comment. I'll read it, right? You've heard me say this before. I read every single comment that comes through on my channel. I will give you a heart. If I deem it heart-worthy, I will respond to it. If I deem it respond-worthy. And yeah, that's pretty much all you have to know. DongRaeGu just takes his natural base at the third base because this probe is blocking it. No big deal. No big deal, he says. I'm used to that here on Everdream because it's a pretty darn short rush distance on this map. Look at it. Dude. It's like 3 steps. 3 big steps. 3 screens away, right? If you're zoomed at this level anyway. I guess if you're zoomed in further, it's more screens, but... You know where we are. Also, you ever checked out the Falcon Paladin Hour? It's myself and Somicron, who's an Aussie. We talk about TV shows and anime. And StarCraft 2, we talk about GSL and make bets on it, which is so fun. I'm currently flying an Australian flag in my front window because I lost a bet in the GSL. I think I put all of my faith into Dark in the last GSL tournament. I think he got 3-0'd in the first round of the playoffs, so that didn't go super well for me. Last time I trust you, Dark. Actually, no, that's not fair. Believe in the Zerg, even though last GSL it was a TVT final. So, Terrans, what do you have to worry about? I don't know. I guess you're worried about Serral, right? Because it's like if Serral's not involved, Terrans and Protoss do much better. When Serral's around, suddenly you get ZVZ finals and bad stuff happens. Serral and Raynor. Yeah, Serral and Raynor both, they live in their home countries. Neither of them live in Korea, and as a result, they cannot compete in GSL. Which, if you're ever wondering what makes a GSL, that's it. Anyway, the point is, if Serral and Raynor are in our tournament, highly likely we get a ZVZ Finals, which is what we've seen from the DreamHack. Right? The most recent DreamHack Europe gives us a ZVZ Final. It's not the finals for DreamHack, but it is the qualifiers for Europe, which is awesome. Gotta love DreamHack that way. It's very fun stuff. Alright. Adept, moving on out, trying to see what she can see. Well, it's a third base from DongRaeGu. Now, where are our tells, right? There's a Twilight Council and there's a robotics facility. This very much looks like Stats is like, look, man, if you don't know how to handle the Resonating Glaive Adept all-in, maybe we should help you with that, right? I'm just giving you some coaching. Lings, get across the map, though. Where was the... Oh, no. Oh, no! That just delayed Warp Gate. And that gateway can't build anything. What a weird slow Ling timing. Who does this? The Adept doesn't see it coming because she's going to the third base to try to harass a little bit. Dude, DongRaeGu, you are an evil genius. This is so amazing. And now they have speed, and now suddenly they're a million times more dangerous. They can run down to the natural base when you're worried about them inside your main base. They can kill these attempted pylons to wall up here. Oh my goodness. My goodness gracious, going after the probes and the natural. This is a really decent opening out of DongRaeGu. I don't know if it's going to be enough to kill Stats, and he is sacrificing a lot of drones to do this. Can the Lings get the gateway? They're trying to chrono boost out this Adept before it dies. No, canceled, bum, done. Wall continuing up. Stats has dealt with this 800 million times. He knows how to wall off against Ling attacks this way. Ling's getting in, getting a full surround. Are you kidding me? Is this working? Bam! DongRaeGu takes game number 2 with a very strange Ling timing. With 19 drones. I need to go back and look at that real quick. This is such a short game. So what does he do here? He does end up taking this base, which is what kind of threw me. Usually these 2 base 19 drone all-in style things don't really just get a third. There's no reason to. But I guess if you're going Lings, look at him. He's sending these Lings up this way. He's sending these Lings out. He is sending a drone down to expand. He's getting speed. He's got 2 queens. He pulls all the workers off gas. And I think he's done. Yeah, he's done making drones. Man, I kind of want to try this. Because look at this. Stats, he's making an Adept to put... Is he putting it inside the wall? That's what he should have done. And maybe that... Oh, he sent it out. He didn't have any vision of this central path. The Adept came over to the third base, didn't have vision of the middle, which is normally what they have. And then Stats just makes a mistake. And the Lings get in and depower your Warp Gate research and depower your ability to stalk her out, and from there it's just downhill. Who does this? Who goes 19 drones, slow Lings, gets speed, and that's it, man. His third base is not even... I don't think his third base is done when this game is over. Maybe it is. Wow. Wow. DongRaeGu. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Falcon, DongRaeGu just basically cheese stats in one. It doesn't mean he's on stats level. And it's like, well, we've got a game 3. This isn't over. Ridiculous. Just sheer ridiculous. Resources lost 1,100 to 700 there. 29 lings died, but an Adept 11 probes, a Stalker, 2 gateways, and 2 pylons went down. Was Warpgate finished? Warpgate was finished, but there are too many lings inside the house for that really to matter all that much. So, wow. Game 2 is in the books after 4 minutes and 22 seconds. So, we'll go ahead and move into game number 3. Like, don't go anywhere, I guess. This might be a shorter series than I anticipated. Blizzard actually broke the ability to show me how long the replays are in the client, so I kind of have to go on how big the replay file is. Anywho, let's get in there anyway. Be right back. All right, we're tied up 1-1 going into game 3 here on Nightshade. Bottom right, stats. Top left, DongRaeGu. All right, so again, this game should decide who is better at this point in their career at StarCraft 2, right? If you achieve stats twice in a row and are successful at it, then that means you're better. That is what I am going to say and believe. Alrighty then. So, Nightshade, the latter edition, filled with pink trees and floating islands and lots of pink mist around the edges, but I don't know, kind of nondescript here in the middle. A lot of pink trees, though. Anyway, it's definitely a bit of a longer rush distance. A bit of a longer rush distance than Everdream. Not crazy long. That's another reason he went for that build, is the shorter rush distance, which is what we talked about, right? So that could be what's going on here. But Hatch first in it, which again doesn't tell you anything about how aggressive a Zerg player is going to be. Tossing up a forge. Really? That's interesting. I saw it and my brain was in Brood War mode for a minute, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. A forge, of course. An early forge out of stats. He's not cannon rushing because his probe's in full view playing the mineral game, which he loses. As he gets a mouthful of minerals, he can't play it anymore. But dang, is he that worried about early lings? Look at how forge before Cybercore and the full wall off. Stats is worried. Stats is worried about Zerglings showing up. And he is what? The delayed cannon rush? Or shoot, it's a delayed cannon rush. Oh, this is such a disgustingly good position here too, but I think the drones can get through that. The pool's not done. The pool is now done. Spine immediately starts in the natural base. 6 slings in production. Oh my gosh, that gateway blocking access to those cannons is brutal. Is this hatch going to die? Dude, this series has been so cheesy. It's been so cheesy. That spine, like, needs to finish tomorrow. Yesterday. How do I... Alright, lings. Okay, that one's dead. This cannon's dead. This cannon might be able to be killed, but these cannons are directly in range of this hatch. And DongRaeGu did not cancel this. He didn't do it. This might just be another... Oh, it's a shield battery. Oh my gosh, it's a shield battery. This is all we're going to do, right? This is all we're able to do because the creep is too much, at least until the hatch dies. Double spine coming up. Queens in the mix. Lings running around, just trying to drain energy off of that shield battery right now. That's their entire goal in life, is to make sure that shield battery has no energy, and it doesn't. The spine's taking down one of the cannons. Easy peasy. Second cannon goes down. Easy peasy. And bam, DongRaeGu is fine. I know you're thinking, yeah, but he lost mining time and he had to build these spines. Look, it's 21 to 22 workers. Nobody has an army supply. Stats had to devote a lot of resources to these cannons, these pylons, this shield battery, and that gateway. So his resources lost are actually higher than DongRaeGu's right now. And yes, it throws DongRaeGu off of his build, and it forces him to get a third base over here later than he wanted to. But he's alive. It was beautifully well responded to there by DongRaeGu. Holy cannoli. This is a good game. Alright, so we got a Stargate follow-up here, an Adept moving out. Natural base for stats just now warping in, which again, it's got to make you feel good, doesn't it? Adept's cruising in because he knows that DongRaeGu doesn't really want to invest a lot into Zerglings right now. So there aren't going to be a lot of them. It's definitely drones in production at the moment. Does get a couple kills and backed into a corner and murdered. Does not actually escape from that position, which is fine, I guess. Couple drones go down. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. Overlord comes in, sees, it's a real Stargate. And an Oracle's on the way. So this Oracle's name is Oracle. Barbara Gordon, the daughter of Commissioner Jim Gordon, was once known as Batgirl and fought alongside the Dark Knight until the Joker shot her into the spine, paralyzing her and forcing her to be confined to a wheelchair. She assumed the moniker Oracle and became Batman's computer expert. One day, while looking for ways to help her walk again, she stumbled upon a strange signal coming from a nearby satellite. It turned out to be a Protoss warship who mistook her name and tech expertise as one of their own oracles and warped her into the cockpit of an oracle, where she now aids the Golden Armada. Holy mistaken identity, Batman. You're not wrong about that. Crazy. Crazy outcome, to be sure. It's another Oracle on the way. It's very rare we see one Oracle anymore in PvZ. That Spore is not finished, but there are 2 Queens here, so, you know, 2 drone kills is about par for the course in that situation. Spore is up in the mains, and is there a Spore at the natural? No, but there are 2 Queens. Roachhorn coming in from DongRaeGu. Interesting choice. Look, has to kill his own Forge to get out. Stats, worried about things. Had the full wall. Not going to help all that much. Twilight Council coming in. Is he just doing this again? Hold on, hold on. Where's the Robo? I don't know. It's rather adept, like regular Adepts and Oracles, I guess. Roachhorn going to be done a little bit earlier, relatively speaking, compared to game number 1, but I don't know. I don't feel like this is resonating glaives. Oracles get in, get a couple more drone kills. The Adepts are just... There's a lot of Queens, and the Lings kind of pin them in here, and yeah, they do shade out and back home. They didn't shade to further into the natural base or into the main, where it would have been probably a death sentence. And there are 9 roaches in production. Are we done? Are we done with drones? DongRaeGu, do you have 47 workers and that's it? Because it feels like you might be done droning. I'm looking at this. He's going for a lair. He's pretty well saturated on 3 bases here. He's got 4 extractors. I'm just kidding, 3 extractors running. The Oracles get some more kills. There's 18 Lings on the way. Dude, this is an aggressive play. This is an aggressive. This is the slow walk of the Queens, man. DongRaeGu is going to show up here with a bunch of Lings, Roaches, and Queens, and a few Ravagers. He left no defense at this natural base. If the Oracles come back here, they can massacre this entire drone line. Oh, yeah. This is 22 more Lings. All right, so the 3rd base needs to be canceled. Stats is not saving this. There's no way. The Oracles are trying to do what they can damage-wise. They are pretty awesome at killing stuff. Unless there's transfuses and Queens to murder you. Oh boy, 1 HP on that Oracle. Dude, this hold from stats, though. It's gonna be tight. He did cancel his 3rd intelligently. The Lings get in a full surround. There are Archons in the mix. The Warp Prism Micro on the Archons is sick. Is so good right now. Ravagers continue to attack up. The Archons, though, a pretty good answer to this thing, especially if there's a Warp Prism to shuttle them around. Lings taking out a Pylon does not supply block stats, although he is at 66 supply. 101 to 66 supply. It's 56 to 24 army supply right now, and stats is in trouble. This is why he has cannons. This is why he has shield batteries. He's making zealots. DongRaeGu is droning up behind this. Canceling the 3rd base of stats is maybe enough, and anything else he gets here is gravy. The Warp Prism, like a lesser Protoss player, is just dead here. Just completely dead here. But the Warp Prism Micro, that's a 22 kill Archon and a 25 kill Archon. These are like weightlifting twins or something. This Overlord is going to die. A little bit sloppy from DongRaeGu. Creeps. This Overlord too might die. Pull back, man. Lings are like, did you try to take a quick 3rd base? No. Awesome. Did he throw a spine up? No, he's got a Queen. And then he is throwing up a Spore at the natural base. Hooray. Dude, this has been the scrappiest series I have cast in some time. Still 2 workers on that gas in the main. That's got to be accidental, right? Don't you want full saturation? Especially because he has it on all the other extractors he's working with. The Lings are just trying to see what's up. And there is definitely a third base now warping in from stats at the third base location. Did that Overlord die or did it go home? I want to say it's dead. How many Overlords have died? 4? Yeah, that makes sense. So DongRaeGu, a little bit sloppy, did not rally his Overlords. It's pretty easy to do Archon Harass, which we haven't seen a lot of recently. Because look, there's like a million Roaches and Ravagers here. You're aware of this. Certainly try to get to that third base. What was I saying? Yeah, so when you make a round of Overlords, you can just right-click somewhere, and those eggs will go to that place. They're not going to go to the usual rally position where your hatch is set to. I mean, I guess it's DongRaeGu making 1 Overlord at a time, along with a group of Roaches and Ravagers and Lings, and then it's harder to select the 1 Overlord and rally it to where you want it to go. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's fair. So income-wise, definitely was favoring DongRaeGu for a minute, but Stats takes the lead. In economy, he's long-distance mining from his third base. That should end fairly shortly as the base warps in now. Mortals and Sentries over this way. Fourth base coming up from DongRaeGu. Army supply 79 to 49, but the Protoss does not have to worry about that too much because he's got Immortals. He's got some Archons running around in that Warp Prism. It's got to be squished inside that Warp Prism to be 2 Archons, right? There's not a lot of room in there for Archons, especially in this format. There's not a room for anything. How do they carry stuff in there? Is it like some trans-dimensional pocket? They just fit stuff in there? Because that design indicates there's no room for anything but like a pilot in that Warp Prism, yeah? Am I wrong about this? I don't think I'm wrong about this. Zerglings cruising around, what can they see? Lings are like, hey, maybe we can kill this whole third base by ourselves. And the answer is no. But you can kill a couple. Oh, they got trapped inside the house. And they got another probe, but they're all also super dead. Brutal. Good news. Fourth base for DongRaeGu is up. He's getting a Spire, more Roaches and more Ravagers, and he's maxed out. So maxed out at 11.5 minutes. On Roaches and Ravagers, got 71 workers rolling. Income is favoring the Zerg player after that very brief dip into Protoss territory a second ago. So he's going for it. He's going to... just mashing yourself into a Protoss base like this is so hard to do. The Zealot scouts the entire presence of the army, and DongRaeGu pulls back. He's like, you know what? Don't like that very much. I don't like them knowing where I'm coming. Creep spread is good. Taking a 5th base down the left side, but charge lots timed that perfectly and do force a cancel. More Zealots, though. Is he just warping? He's just I think he's just slow walking him up. What he's doing. Big engagement at the front here. Good job pulling back. And there is Storm, which isn't as effective against Roaches and Ravagers as it is against Hydras. This is Zealots really... Wow, they beat those Roaches, man. And DongRaeGu pulling back. Dude, the longer you're maxed out and the longer Stats is not maxed out, the more time Stats has to get maxed out. Dude, don't tell me the whole army came back to deal with the Zealot. That's like a... Oh, it didn't actually kill the Zealot. And the Queen's not attacking. I mean, you gotta send someone back to handle this dude. Look at everybody. Everybody's coming back to handle this dude. 198 to 143 supply. It should, but... Right? But Roach Ravager is just not cost efficient as compared to things like High Templar and Archons and Immortals. I don't know about attacking down this ramp. You know your opponent has Storm. It's disgustingly good against anything ground, except for Ultras, I guess. Everything else on the ground, Storm is disgustingly good against that Zerg has. 4th base is warping in from Stats. 5th base is still not happening from DongRaeGu. He's got 2,000 minerals. He needs to take a hat tree. Like one right here would be great. He's making 10 mutas. Oh. The tech switch. He's going to try to catch Stats off guard, bring 10 mutas over, because he knows there's not much anti-air. Oh, and these Stalkers are just chewing up Ah, did actually kill the fourth base. The Roaches and Ravagers came in. Several of them died in the meantime. Mutalisks, trying to kill stuff in the main base. Well, the Zealots are trying to kill stuff in the main base. The Mutalisks reveal themselves as a result. And now Stats is going to start pumping Phoenix. He's getting a Fleet Beacon for that Union Pulse Crystal upgrade. And yeah, he's responding to this really well. DongRaeGu, the longer he goes without another base, the more worried I am about this. But he did kill Stats fourth. So, I mean, it's still 4-3 bases, which is a fine position to be in. Look at these guys. I said there'd be a drone coming up here. Ah, there you go. Then they said there'd be a recompense for our murder of that drone, and there was. So the mutas are coming in before the Phoenix count can get any high, like any number whatsoever. 14 probes go down here. The Phoenix have showed up, though. Again, they're going to be awesome in this situation. There are 29 Mutalisks out, though. DongRaeGu, you madman. How did you have time to make 29? This is the guy that won 12 Premier Championships in 2 years. That's who this guy is. Roach Ravager going after this third base, also getting snuck up on. The Mutas are killing shield batteries. They're killing this fourth base. This is disgusting. This series is so good. I told you, DongRaeGu he's for real, everyone. In case you're wondering, he is for real. Ooh, there's some High Templar in here. They want to toss down some storms. And they do. They catch these guys a little bit. That is so many Mutalisks. 30 when's the last time somebody made 30 Mutalisks in a ZVP? Oh, the storms are great. Stasis Field catches a couple of those roaches there. Fifth base finally coming up from DongRaeGu. I'm telling you, is DongRaeGu back? More probes dying. Dude, that income is hugely favoring DongRaeGu right now. He needs to finish that Nexus and get out. Yep, just get out. I mean, I guess keep active. Yeah, finishing off their Robo. Nice. It's depowered, but whatever. Ling's getting in here. I think that they could have stayed with the Lings, and the rest of the army could have drawn the rest of the Protoss away. The Phoenix had the Anion Pulse Crystal upgrade. How? Didn't the Fleet Beacon just finish? How long does that upgrade take? Like 40 seconds? Man. It must. It must be a very fast upgrade. Alright, so Stats is on 3 bases at 16 minutes, which is bad. DongRaeGu is getting a 5th base, which is good for him. Resources lost here, 17,000 even, which is not where you want to be against a Zerg player. You need to be killing more of their stuff, even as bad. And now he's moving back into Roach production because the Phoenix count is so high, the mutas aren't going to be as effective as they otherwise could be. Although, if you could be where the Phoenix are not. Alright, so that's a canceled base again. 16 minutes. And we are at 4 bases to 3 bases is nuts. Stats tries to take the 6 o'clock for his 4th. As this low ground kind of middle of the map is not working out for him. Ooh, expanding up north is DongRaeGu. Mothership coming in from Stats. Alrighty then. Army supply 136 to 83, but again, a lot of that is Mutalisks, and in a straight up fight, the Phoenix will murder them. Just murder them. Still, +2 flyer though. I don't know that Stats is done with Mutas. Perhaps he wants to move into Corruptor production later on. The upgrade would be good in that situation. A bit of a quiet falls over Nightshade. Stats really doesn't want to go on creep, which makes sense. Lurker Den and an infestation pit coming in for DongRaeGu. Lings are like, aha! We knew there was a base down here. Scouted. Creep dump up in the top right and the bottom left. Just some advance warning. If Zealots are coming across to murder this 5th base again. Actually, this is the 5th up north, and this is the 6th now, even though it was attempting to be the 5th several times. So we're moving into one heck of a crazy configuration here. Again, DongRaeGu, 199, 146. He has a lead. But the mutas are a little bit problematic with the Phoenixer here. And with the amount of storm, another Mutalisk goes down. Hive on the way for DongRaeGu. Stats, 4th base is happily running. It's oversaturated because it's late and he has more workers he knows what to do with. The Phoenix balls, though. The Phoenix. 10 of them. We didn't go Mass Phoenix because you can't win the game with Mass Phoenix in a 1v1. In team games you can, because the rest of your team can cover you on killing grounds like buildings and stuff. But in a 1v1, Mass Phoenix just means you can never kill buildings and then you lose. It's weird, but it's true. Lurkers in production. Probably going to go for those upgrades on the Lurkers once that hive is done. Again, Lurkers are lair tech. You got to get a Hydralisk den and then a Lurker den, which is a lot of investment. And then for further upgrades, you got to make an infestation pit and a hive. Mutas coming around the back. You can't storm this because that's where your probes are. Oh, the Mutas really want to kill that mothership, but they're taking so much splash damage as a result. Okay. The Roach is still doing stuff down here, kind of, but also getting lifted and murdered by the Phoenix. All right, so we're moving into a Hydralisk Lurker style play. There are the upgrades. There's that upgrade for the range on the Lurkers. Gives them like 12 range down from 13. It's insanely good. But can you get there before the Lurkers arrive? And do you have enough? Can you just lift and kill them? Because you have the Phoenix, right? I don't know if DongRaeGu is going to get into this tech fast enough for it to make a difference. The Mutas, were they a mistake? They did their damage. The Mutas did their damage, but when it comes down to a direct engagement, they have to run. Are there enough? I don't know, man. I don't know. The Lurkers, they're burrowing in. And Stats knows there's Lurkers at this point. Oh, Lurkers coming down! Are you kidding me? Zealots are trying to handle it, but can't get a surround on them. Okay, northern 5th base is dead. That's another dead hatch for DongRaeGu. This Lurker has effectively shut down all mining at this base, and now it is completely dead, so we're back in action. Stats trying to retake his 4th Nexus position for a 5th. 197 to 168 total supply. DongRaeGu with just getting what damage he can with the Mutas, recognizing they're not great in a straight engagement. Therefore, let's kill what we can. Dude, is DongRaeGu going to win this game with his Mutalisks? I really feel like he could. He's murdered so many probes with these guys. That's 20. That's 21. And sure, the Mutas might all be dead now because these Phoenix are going to chew them up. And they certainly do. They're not even running. That ground army got massacred by Stats' army. It's 112 to 113 total army supply. And now we'll see how the Hydra Lurker does against Stats, who is down to 41 workers. Economically is in the worst position of all time, but he does have a decent army value. Time Warp gets tossed down. Storm inside the Time Warp. Storm all over everything. If DongRaeGu could just hold here and not get absolutely massacred, but he does, and Stats is your winner in 21 minutes and 33 seconds. Holy cannoli. That was nuts. Dude, Stats. Look at this. Look at this income graph right now. That is blue. That is Zerg heavy as it can possibly be for the last 10 minutes. It's bad, right? It's 50 to 41 total workers. How many probes have died in this game? 66. I mean, 39 drones have died too, which helps. But at the end of the time, there's just too much. Look at this. Yeah. This is a hard composition to deal with. We're just going to say it. It's hard to deal with. Immortal Archon Stalker with Mothership support. All the Mutas are dead because there's nothing they could do. The Lurkers are pretty well countered by the Immortals. This guy's got 20 kills, by the way. How many are there? There's 5 Immortals and only 3 Lurkers. Yeah. And those numbers, the Lurkers die. I assume we brought detection with us because we are smart, and we did. And yeah, that was it. I mean, Stats economically was dead, but he knew he had a better army composition. If you're going to go Lurker Hydra, first of all, it's hard to pull off because Storm exists, and Storm was great from Stats in this game. But you need a million Lurkers, a lot more Lurkers than this. You need Vipers, which he did have, maybe for some Abduct, like abduct an Immortal into a ball of Lurkers and murder it. That would help so much. But yeah, the Phoenix were MVPs in this game, killing Overlords, killing Overseers, lifting and killing Hydralisks, which they weren't made until the Mutalisks showed up. So I think DongRaeGu kind of unintentionally allowed Stats to get the units that really helped him to win this game, you know? Were those Phoenix. They were MVPs. MVPs. Oh, of the match, I think. I don't know, maybe it was the Mothership, but maybe it was the High Templar. It's just a combination, right? If you're a good player, then You have a very, very varied composition. Yeah, I mean, if we could look at the army value, actually, let's do that real quick. So, like, right here, it's 112 to 113, which is not where you want to be as a Zerg player. That kind of army value. He's got a lot of lurkers, too. So, it's 112 to 113. All this stuff happens. The Archons are just doing pretty good. The Hydras are pretty scary, but then there's a billion Storm. And look, the lift and kill on the Hydras on the left side is disgusting. The right side is just not enough. And it's 97 to 55 army supply when all is said and done there. Yeah, that was... Stats lost what? Like 15 army supply in that engagement? That was disgusting. So good. So Protoss players rejoice. We got a Protoss win versus a Zerg, which I know you guys all love very, very much. DongRaeGu acquitted himself well. I think he played well here. And the fact that just a couple months later, he is, again, qualifying for the second group stage of GSL... It's great. I'd love to see DongRaeGu do some more stuff, but not able to get over the stats hump, which is, not too shameful. Not many players can get over the stats hump. At this point, it's like Cyril can consistently beat stats. Yee. Is that it? That might be it. Anywho, good stuff, man. What a wonderful, wonderful series. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's not as long as some of these best of series are, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Hit that like button if you did. Because for now, that's going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.